Car auctions can feel just like a casino. You walk in, think you're going to win big, but you could walk out losing thousands. And in this video, I'm going to break down the casino effect and the 3 biggest mistakes auto dealers make at auction, plus how to avoid them. Starting with overbidding. So when you're bidding on cars, very important you have a predetermined price on which you intend on paying for a car. And no egos can get in the way of your bidding. So when you go to auction, it's a competitive market. You put out a bid on a car that you already looked at for $2,000. A few seconds later, somebody says, I'll do $2,200. We can't let them get the car for $2,200. Who this guy think he is? So now we're at $2,400. And the list goes on and on and on until before we've ended. Now we're at $6,000 or on a car that we may not have actually intended on spending any more than $3,000. And believe me, I've seen it happen time and time again. So overbidding is very, very important because of the competitive nature of bidding on cars. Come in with a predetermined amount you intend on spending. There'll always be another win out there. Don't be afraid to walk away from a bid on a car. Now, the next thing I see people do wrong in the field of overbidding on cars is going to be knowing the market value. So again, if you put out a bid on a car, and let's just say you start your bid at $3,000, maybe that's where the bid started. Who knows? Maybe this bid goes all the way to $5,000. Okay, so $5,000 as the bid is going live. You always have to be cognizant of the market value of the cars that you're bidding on, because just because the bid is up to $5,000 doesn't necessarily mean that car is worth $5,000, because some people who offer financing might be okay with paying $5,000 for a car that might only be valued at $6,000, because ultimately they're going to finance this car, and they're going to finance the car. They might have, an additional $500 finance fee, another $250 whatever fee, and then another fee, and then another fee, and then another fee to make up for this. But if you were, monkey see, monkey do, and just following along because this person was willing to go all the way to $5,000 for a car that's only worth $6,000, by the time you add in buyer's fees, maybe they at $5,500 now. Okay. If you don't know what the market value is on your car and what your selling strategy is, you might have overpaid for this vehicle just because the guy next to you was willing to go all the way to $6,000, but you don't know where their money is coming from. So that's another common mistake I see people make, overbidding on cars, because they're not paying attention to what the market is on the car, instead of just watching those around them, and they'll say, well, if this guy's going to be able to make money on the car at $5,500, so can I. But that's definitely not always the case. So you need to know where your market cap is for your vehicle, how you intend on profiting from the car, so you know exactly when to stop. Because if you don't know when to stop, it will actually end up costing you way more money than you will make. So the last common mistake I see people make when it comes to overbidding on cars is not factoring in work that the cars may need. So let's just say again, we have another starting bid of $3,000 for a car that we're going to win, and we intend on selling for $5,000. All right. So let's just say this bid goes all the way up to $4,500. Right. Still not too bad, right? But if we didn't consider work that the car may have needed, let's just say this car may have needed a battery. Let's switch colors here. Let's say we looked at this car earlier on and we already know it needed a battery, 125. Let's say it needed a couple of used tires, that's another $100. And then I don't know, maybe let's see, it also had a little bit of fender damage that we wanted to get taken care of. All right. So if we bid all the way up to $4,500, we intended on selling it for $5,000. Let's add in our work here, our battery. All right. Tires on the car. All right. And then getting a fender repaired. So now we're at 5, 2, 4. That's an additional $425 that we didn't account for. So instead of us thinking we're walking out paying $4,500, we're now walking out paying $4,825. And we thought we were going to be able to sell the car for $5,000 and make a profit. So it's very, very important when you're bidding on your car, you pay attention to the reason what caused you to overbid on the car. So knowing your market cap, not getting caught up in the competitive nature of bidding on cars, and factoring in how much money you're gonna have to invest in each one of these cars that we're bidding on. All right. Next on the list, let's clean up this out a little bit. Common mistakes that dealers make bidding on cars is going to be pretty cars. All right. Now, there's not to say there's not a lot of money to be made on pretty cars, but we all have to know our each individual markets and where we make our money at on cars. So, shiny Mercedes might be coming down the line. Very beautiful car, right? But if we don't see any money that could be made on that Mercedes, we gotta let it go. Beautiful Porsche coming down the line, we can afford it, right? Beautiful Porsche coming down the line, we can afford it. But if there's not any money to be made on the Porsche, that's what we gotta let it go. And you'd be surprised how many dealers that I see buying pretty cars, going out, got the new Tesla, got the new Land Rover, have all these beautiful cars on the lot, but if nobody's buying them, what's the purpose? We are here to make money. So we're not looking for pretty cars. We're looking for cars that we can make money on. So it doesn't matter how pretty you are. And I'll tell you another thing, unless you are in the business, what I like to say, of selling money. So that is when you're financing cars. You buy a car from somebody, or you buy a car from auction for, let's just say, $8,000, right? Your customer doesn't have $8,000, so you say, you know what, no problem, we have a financing system. So we'll finance you the car for $9,500, right? So then we're making our money off this pretty car, because there's no money to invest in a car. If it's already pretty, if it's already has perfect paint, perfect detailing, clean emissions, everything's perfect on the car, the market cap is generally going to be what the market cap is. If you want to be able to make money, you have to be able to add value to your sale. And if you can't add value directly to your car, you have to add value by means of selling money. So that would be financing. All right. Last on the list, where I see dealers lose a ton of money in the casino effect of buying and selling cars at auction, is going to be skipping inspections. Generally at auction, these cars have somewhat of an inspection that is already done at auction, but I never trust those inspections, because it could be some kid inspecting your car and might have been texting on his phone at the same time, and therefore your inspection is very well not going to get done properly. So there's been times where I went out and bought cars, and inspections generally go on a scale of 1 to 5, so 0.5 to 5. I literally went out before and bought a car, and I think the score was like a 4.8, just to find out that the engine was actually bad on the car. So never skip inspections if you're at an auction that allows dealer inspections. And I generally recommend you only buy at auctions that allow dealer inspections, because that is the way you can make sure you don't end up actually buying a lemon or buying something that doesn't run at all. So never skip inspections, know when to stop bidding, and let's try to stay away from pretty cars unless we have a outstanding way to add value to those vehicles that we're selling. And that is how you skip the casino effect.